Welcome to the Talking the Line podcast, presented to you by Talking the Line Sports Media, giving you our best insights and analysis so you can rake in some cold hard cash on your next sports bet. Now sit on back, open up your mind, and let's cash some tickets. We can't thank you enough for joining us. We hope you enjoy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, degenerates and gamblers far and wide. Welcome in to episode number 69 of the Talking the Line podcast. Yes, we are very mature here. And hey, thank you so much for taking a few moments out of your day to come and kick it with the crew on this 69th episode of the TTL Pod on this beautiful Tuesday of bets. Now, before we talk some lines for you guys today and dive deep into the value that we found across today's slates, please take a few moments to smash that subscribe button on whatever platform you are currently ingesting the TTL Pod on, whether that be on YouTube. If you are, you might as well hit that notification bell as well so you never miss the start of a live show. But if you are perhaps listening to the audio recorded version, make sure you subscribe there as well, because we always do release the audio version after every live show. Next item on the docket, if you could also be so kind, in addition to stopping by today, go ahead and hit that like button, leave us a comment, leave us a rating, all that good stuff. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it when you guys do, and it only helps us make TTL Sports Media bigger and better for each and every one of you. And last, but certainly not least, looking for more TTL crew content? Well, we got you covered. Head on over to this episode's description. First link you're going to see there is the Talking the Line link tree. Within that link, you will locate all of the TTL crew's content so you can consume it however and whenever you please. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on today's show, I am your humble host, Colton, Colt 45 Soroka. And once again, thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out, kicking it with me and my partner. If you're not watching live, you're listening, you're not seeing that man. So let me bring that man in now. You can see it on his shirt. You can see it right across his chest. His Sox fandom, no one can hold a candle to it. It runs thicker than blood. And he is ready to see them back in action, but might have to wait another day. Bit of a rainy day here in the Windy City of Shy City, my city, our city, but it's okay. We're going to make a little of our own sunshine in here today in the TTL production studio. So without further ado, the man, the myth, the degenerate gambling legend himself, Mr. Riley RMags Magnuson. Partner, how you doing over there today, pal?
My man, I'm doing pretty damn all right. We've got a little bit of a bounce back day in action coming ahead for us. We'll be getting into that in a second here, but I'm feeling pretty good. As you mentioned, gloomy day outside. Not the case in here. We're ready to get rocking and rolling. We've got a hell of a show coming up, and I'm feeling pretty damn good about our picks today.
Yes, sir. Not the case at all in here. Absolutely beaming, my friend. Mm-hmm. You know, that's one of my go-to mottos. You know me, Colts Motivation Minutes. If it's a little rainy outside, people tend to have that negativity that, man, here we go again. I always like to say, hey, make a little of your own sunshine today. We'll get that positivity going. You know what it says at the top of the screen before every show starts. Good vibes incoming. And let me tell you, folks, they are coming today. But first, I don't want to say negative vibes by any means, but we got to do a little bit of the bad before we get into the good. I'm going to make this statement right now that it's okay to fade the TTL crew on Mondays for the time being. I don't know that either one of us have really been hot on Mondays. The card for the MLB, the books know how to set it, and they know how to make us spin in circles. It's not just us, it's every other capper out there for the most part. Few guys stayed far away from most of the MLB and cashed pretty good in soccer yesterday. Either way, potentially, for the time being, fade us on Monday, but every other day, hammer every pick we play. You know us, full transparency show here, so we ain't gonna hide shit from you. We're men over here. We'll stand up. We'll tell you when we're wrong. So let's get into yesterday's best bets of the day. Oh my gosh.
Cue the Dylan Bundy yakking on the mound clip right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Goodness.
We will definitely get into that too in the Rants and Reactions. But wow, goodness gracious, it looks worse on the screen. Mags had the lone win for the crew yesterday, which I could not take because it was against my Cubbies. So I went 0-5. Can't believe it. Haven't had an 0 for day. Wow.
6 spot that guy.
All right, 0 for 6. I do apologize. Thanks for rubbing it in even more. I appreciate you looking a little bit more. Got to make the accountability. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, there's 0 for 3 on your side too, pal. Either way, or 0-3 on your side. Either way. So enough badgering, enough bantering. We had a shitty ass day. It's time to get into a good day. Monday Madness parlay, no good whatsoever. Astros couldn't wake up. Canadians got rolled, but the over, nice and easy. Hope you took a little side action on that. Hey, our Moneyline Dice, they kept us in the game, though. Angels Moneyline cashed nice and easy and stayed under 10.5 as well, only ended at 8 runs. So,
back to an even record.
Back to an even record, 25-25-1. So, with all that being said, let's get that disgusting Monday off of the screen. Please, don't go anywhere. Stay put. You know these things happen in the game we play.
Yeah.
And I promise you, we got the value coming at you today. We took a little bit of extra time today. That's why we're a little bit later coming onto the show. I was just kind of scrambling around, getting everything finalized and set up right here as right before we hit the start streaming button. So the whole time previous was spent diving through today's lines. And, I think we got some solid value coming out today. So kicking off today's show, we got the TTL Crew's best bets of the day. RMags is bringing you 4 best bets today, all MLB bets, and he is mainly taking care of the early slate. Me, I'm taking care of the evening slate for the MLB. I also have 4 picks coming at you for my best bets of the day. Then we'll get into the second segment of the day, the Twofer Tuesday Parlay. That bad boy, one of the crew's favorite, is at 289 plus 289 odds today. 2-legger, 1 NBA leg and 1 MLB leg. You got to stick around for the second segment to get that special play today. Then we will get into the Moneyline Dice. Moneyline Dice might be catching fire here, folks, so I suggest you stick around for the third segment. Going to be rolling today for the matchup between the San Diego Padres and the Cincinnati Reds. So we will, once again, let the dice tell us what we need to play and have all of our faith in them. In the dice we trust.
I trust.
Have never sounded truer.
True.
Facts. I don't either. Into the second half of the show, we're going to dive back into the war on sticky stuff. Some stuff I saw last night that my partner did not know about. Now he is privy to because I have clued him in. You might have not seen it, but you will soon find out. Also, a little other stuff happening on the mound. We just talked about Dylan Bundy there. We'll get into that nonsense. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs happening last night. We'll get into that. NBA rolling on again this evening. And then a little bit of UFC and other fighting stuff. I told you guys, I promised you I was going to bring you more information, keep you up to date, and I am holding true to my promise. I'm a man of my word. You guys don't know that yet, but you're soon to find out. This guy knows it. I say something, I live up to it. So it's time to bring you a little bit of extra stuff so you can bump up your UFC knowledge and your general MMA knowledge.
Some big news, though. We would have been touching on this, no question.
Regardless. Absolutely
Either way,
regardless.
Though, big news.
So that will do it for most of the ransom reaction. We do have a little extra stuff to get into there. Then my motivation minutes today, just going to share a little message on being still. giving you some perspective on that phrase, on that thought, on that mindset that has really gotten me through a lot of difficult times in my life, or some of those fork in the road moments. So hope you stick around for the very end of the pod for my motivation minutes, give you that little bit extra inspiration to get you through this Tuesday. But for now, cut all the nonsense, cut all the drama, cut all the banter you could go to every other sports media outlet and get. You come to the TTL Pod for the Stone Cold Locks, except on Monday, and running tickets to the window with the TTL crew all day and night long. It is now time to get into the 69th episode of the TTL Pod. If you're tired of me saying that already, well, you better get used to it, because it's going to happen at least 100 more times on today's show, because the 69th only comes around once. So without further ado, time to get into the first segment of the day, the TTL Crew's Best Bets of the Day. As always, kicking things off with RMags' Best Bets of the Day. Told you just a little bit ago, he's got 4 MLB bets coming at you. I'm not even going to spoil anything for you guys this time around. You know the vibes that are coming out of this show today. We are putting Monday behind us, looking Tuesday square in the face, and kicking it straight in the teeth. I suggest you listen up, pull out those sports books, get ready to hammer these plays in as soon as he drops them down, because there is serious value about to come your way. So without further ado, as always, partner, you have the floor.
Alrighty, man. I appreciate it. So as my partner mentioned, I've got 4 picks today, and I am backing 4 pitchers that I absolutely love to dominate all game long for their teams. First one is my main man here, possibly my main favorite pitcher to bet on all season long. Marlins first 5 money line versus the Phillies. I'm going Trevor Rogers versus Vince Velasquez. Now, Trevor Rogers, 2.08 ERA on the season. Actually, a little bit better on the road, 2.01 ERA in his road starts. And he's actually faced Philly a couple times this season, only allowed 1 earned run in each of those starts over 12 2/3 innings combined. So it's not any type of fluke action here. He handles this offense well, and he's done it a couple times this season. And he's facing a Philly offense that's, a little bit on the downslope right now. Last 5 versus lefties, 226 batting average, 305 OBP, only 3.21 runs per 9. So nothing special there from the Philly offense. They're only averaging under 3 runs per game over those last 5. And you're giving me Vince Velasquez on the mound for the Phillies on the other side. He's got a 4.74 ERA on the season. Getting worse as we get into it here in the middle of the season here. 6.23 ERA here in June. Only finished 5 innings pitched once in his last 5 starts, and he's actually worse at home, 5.18 ERA. So things aren't going so super well here for Vince Velasquez. The biggest thing that I like here, this Miami offense gives me a little bit of concern every now and then, but against Vince Velasquez, they've actually beat the hell out of him in his career. Jesus Aguilar, Jazz Chisholm, and Starling Marte have a combined 11 for 19 hits per at bat record there for those 3 guys. So 3 guys that you love to see to have big numbers, and that's just the best of it. There's still some other guys that have some good numbers there. So contrary to what you might be thinking, I actually like Miami's offense today, and I like Trevor Rogers to keep them to 2 runs tops, and I'm thinking 0 or 1 partner, and we get a nice 3-1 first 5 victory here for the Marlins.
I think you're spot on. I put this in my bet slip, and I turned around in my chair in the lab. I looked at you, and I said, you probably like those Marlins on the first 5, don't you? And you just shook your head and smiled. So nothing else I can add. I love them just as much. I've already hammered this play in. So once again, Marlins first 5 money line, first play of the day coming from RMags. Hammer it in.
Alrighty, second play coming out of the Rays versus Nationals, and I'm actually taking the Tampa Bay Rays first 5 money line with Rich Hill on the mound versus Joe Ross. Rich Hill, 3.52 ERA. He was absolutely amazing in May, 0.78 ERA. Then he had a couple of 4 earned runs out in June. You thought maybe the old dog was going back to his ways of being an old dog. But he actually followed that up last week with a 1 earned run outing over 5 innings pitched versus the Red Sox at a time when the Red Sox were really hitting really well. And in his career versus the Nats lineup, The Nats hitters are hitting a combined 127 batting average with a 241 OBP. So he handles this team really well. Last 10 for the Nats versus lefties. Contrary to what you might think, this Nats offense has been hot, but not against lefties. 143 batting average last 10 games, 265 OBP, 0.71 runs per 9 versus lefties, partner. And, the big story out of this Nats team, we all know it. I know it. We've all been following it. We've all seen the highlights. Mr. Kyle Schwarber is a walking home run right now, but he is doing that all against righties. And when I say all against righties, it is all against righties.
Is it all against righties?
It is all against righties. 23 of his 24 home runs on the season are versus righties. Only one versus a left-hander on the year. And he is a combined 1 for 9 in his career versus Rich Hill. So needless to say, I love Rich Hill to keep them off the board today. And, you got Joe Ross on the other side of the bill. I'm not even going to dive too far into him because he is quite possibly the most unpredictable pitcher in baseball this season. He's got a 4.12 ERA, 5.74 ERA at home. He's got a handful of shutouts, but he's also got a handful of 5, 6, 7, 8 earned run outings. So needless to say, he is, in my opinion, the most unpredictable pitcher in baseball. I think the Rays get him for at least a couple today if he doesn't have one of those blowout outings, because he is kind of due for it if you're looking at the trends from a season. That's not what I'm necessarily betting on today, but I do love Rich Hill and the Rays to keep down the Nats offense and also put up at least a couple on the Joe Ross here, partner.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I had told you at first I kind of like Washington in this spot, but more diving deep into it, yeah, Joe Ross has had a good June, got a good ERA posted right now, but I think he's going to start to regress back to the mean. And from what we've seen, just like you said, man, I just don't think this is going to be his day.
Right.
And apparently Rich Hill has been really, really doggone good. And that was another thing that sided me over to you, that Schwarber is not good against him, and Schwarber's doing all of his heroics right now, which we'll actually get into in the Rants and Reactions, all against right-handed pitching. So
right.
I'll back you as well again.
Right, and another reason why I'm liking the first 5, because you just don't know with, the Rays bullpen is good, but who knows what the matchups are going to be beyond that, and Rich Hill's consistently going at least 5 innings. So there's my second play.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Partner, so kindly keep things moving right along with the third best bet coming from you today.
All right, 3rd out of 4. I've got sticking in the National League here, Mets versus Braves. I'm taking the Braves first 5 money line. You've got Tyler McGill for the Mets right-hander versus Charlie Morton for the Braves righty. Morton is getting better and better as this season goes along. Over his last 2, he's got his best 2 outings of the season, coming off back-to-back shutouts of at least 7 innings pitched. That's a combined 14 2/3 innings pitched, only 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, and 18 Ks. He's pitching his best of his season right now. And that most recent start was actually against these Mets. 7 innings pitched, 1 hit. And you might say, okay, now the Mets see him again coming in the second week in a row.
Okay, the Mets see him again coming in a second week in a row.
The Mets are seeing him now for a second week in a row, coming in and going to change the story. However, that is not a fluke. He has faced the Mets earlier on in May, gave up only 2 hits over 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run. So he dominates these Mets offense. Needless to say, thank you for the help.
Absolutely, my friend. Just being facetious over here today. I took my funny pills.
All right. Mets last 10 versus righties. 214 batting average, 294 OBP, only 2.94 runs per 9. So they're not really getting done versus right-handers right now, and you're giving me a right-hander who absolutely dominates them historically. And on the other side of the bill, you've got Tyler McGill making his second career start. Faced these Braves last week, and contrary to what I was just saying about seeing Charlie Morton for the second time in back-to-back weeks, I like this Braves offense to see a young pitcher for the second straight week without the experience of handling an offense like the Braves. Faced the Braves last week, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. I like that number to jump up and maybe chase him out of the 3rd or 4th inning a little bit sooner this time around. So needless to say, I think that offense is going to figure him out. And I absolutely love Charlie Morton to keep the Mets off the board once again today for another first 5 money line.
Absolutely. Take the words right out of your mouth. Charlie Morton has only continued to improve, and I think that that trend continues here today. The Braves have kind of been lackluster here. The halfway through the halfway point of the season, and I think they start to turn things around here, especially we get to the All-Star break, and then after the All-Star break, I think you start to hear about a lot of those big names from the Braves, because, I mean, think about it. How often have you heard of Acuna and some of those big guys so far this season? They just haven't been doing what they should, but I think this might be the start of the turnaround, and especially against that young pitcher.
Yeah, I agree with you, at least offensively, because, I mean, they got a couple of injuries to their starting rotation, so that offense is going to have to pick up some slack there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, that is number 3. Number 4 is coming out of, once again, the National League. I am going, you're not going to like this one again, partner, as it was yesterday. Cubs versus Brewers. I am taking the Brewers on the run line this time around, -1.5. Got Zach Davies on the mound for the Cubs versus Brandon Woodruff for the Brewers, right-hander. And I am backing the mess out of Brandon Woodruff. He's got a 1.89 ERA on the season, 0.76 whip. And on top of that, Brandon Woodruff has been one of my favorite pitchers to back, but in this spot particularly, he has faced the Cubs 3 times this season, a combined 19 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 24 Ks. So needless to say, it has not gone well for your Cubs offense against Mr. Woodruff. And now, not just this season, historically, 113 batting average versus him, 165 OBP, 189 slugging. He has made them look silly. And as I have mentioned, and as my partner has acknowledged, the Cubs versus right-handers right now are pretty cold. 156 batting average, 256 OBP, 2.71 runs per 9. So things are a little rough for the Cubbies offense right now. And, I was a little reluctant to fade Zach Davies in this spot. He has been a little unpredictable, 4.31 ERA, obviously through the first 6 innings of the Cubs no-hitter last week versus the Dodgers. However, he did have 5 walks, so not completely unblemished there. And that start actually followed an 8 earned run outing versus the Miami the week before. So that kind of illustrates how unpredictable he is. I think the Brewers get him for at least a few runs here. They put up 14 yesterday. I don't always love that. Backing them the next day after a double-digit run. But I love Brandon Woodruff enough to where I think the Brewers put up at least 4 or 5 in this game, leading me to the Brewers -1.5.
I don't know. I can't side with you on that one. Yeah, that really hurts. My Cubbies, I tweeted it out yesterday. They're just in the mid-season slump. So all of you guys that want to get off the bandwagon that jumped on, that are not true bleeders of the blue and red, see you guys later. I'll be sitting right here on the caboose while seeing you guys all roll off the tracks, but don't come trying to run back to the train once we get back hot again after the All-Star break, if it takes that long, which I don't see it happening. But yes, they are a little bit cold. Zach Davies, you never really know. But the one thing I am surprised about, and you did say it at the end, I'm surprised you did say it to give me the opportunity to bring it back, is one of your biggest trends that you fade is when a team has huge runs put up the next day, is that you hate them to put up runs the very next day.
On the flip side, I typically fade guys who threw no-hitters in the next start too, though.
True that. Hey, it's gambling, baby. Who really knows either way?
Yeah.
So if you're a Cubby fan, don't listen to this guy. But great analysis, partner. Love the play. Brewers -1.5 for your 4th and final best bet of the day. Anything else you need to lay down, discuss, talk about, any additional knowledge, my friend?
No, I'm just I'm beyond juiced to back all 4 of these guys today. I've there was a stretch there where I was nailing some of these pitcher matchups, but some of my offenses there were letting me down. But I am all in on all 4 of these guys today.
All right, my friend. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. RMags, best bets of the day. Wasn't doing that the whole time. Now we got 4 in there. It is a wrap now. Get out the brooms. 4-0 sweep coming up. It's just it's a polar opposite. Real bad day, one day. Very next day, real great day.
Sweet.
And around the TTL pod, it isn't 5, 6, 7 days a week that we have. It's 1 day out of 12. Mm-hmm. I mean, for crying out loud, it just doesn't happen. Forgive us one bad day. But I also wanted to mention, before I did dive into my best bets of the day, we had some additional plays. Like, for instance, today, the Hawks, -6.5, or +6.5, +7. I like them. If it gets over the key number of 7, if it gets to 7.5, I will hammer the Hawks, because everybody and their dogs are on the Bucks tonight. Even with all the storyline and everything, you just have to play certain things. So, especially with the Clippers last night, we both played the Clippers on the spread. I took the money line and I doubled down at halftime. So, with all that being said, we do have additional bets. These are our best bets of the day, but it is gambling, baby. So, we bet a lot of other stuff. So, follow us on the Action Network app. That is where I'm going with all of this. I am at cash_with_Colt. Partner is at RMags in all caps, and then you can follow the best bets of the day at Talking the Line for the entire crew page. Just wanted to mention that, but let's keep things rolling along. Second half of the first segment of the day, my best bets of the day. Also told you I got 4 best bets coming at you. Not going to hesitate, not going to delay, no waiting around here. Do have to just briefly check a few things from the video standpoint. Looks good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into my best bets of the day. First, best bet coming at you. I am going on over to the matchup between the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays, and I am taking the Seattle Mariners first 5 run line plus 1.5. Mouthful there, but had to make sure I said it right. Yes, the first 5 run line is at plus 1.5, and it is extremely great value today, even with how high-powered this Toronto offense is. Mainly comes down to the pitching matchup. You got Chris Flexen on the mound for the M's, and then you have Robbie Ray on the mound for the Blue Jays. Now, Chris Flexen has actually been dominant. He is the winningest money pitcher in the MLB right now. 10-3 record and overall winnings based on a $100 better of $895 on the season. Granted, has been in a lot of underdog spots, but nonetheless, he still has been really solid. So I'm going back to the well on him. I have backed him plenty of times when the run line was at plus 0.5. Now you're giving me plus 1.5. Give me all of it. But a couple key stats and trends just to let you guys know why I'm backing this so heavily. Flexen's only had 9 earned runs in his last 5 starts. You take away 1 bad outing against Oakland, and he has been a money man. He's gone at least 6 innings or more in all of those starts, and he's got a 3.04 ERA in June. So he's been pretty doggone dominant in the month, and only one player on this Blue Jays offense has faced Chris Flexen, and that is George Springer. He is 1 for 3, and outside of that, nobody else has faced him. So I like Flexen to have this Toronto Blue Jays lineup off balance all night long, really. At least 5-6 innings, I do believe he can make it through this lineup. Now, for Robbie Ray on the opposing bump for the Jays, he hasn't pitched against Seattle this season, but that lineup and the players in the lineup have historically hit really well against him. 48 at-bats so far, 344 batting average, 403 on base percentage, and a 992 OPS. Ray has given up 8 earned runs in his last 5 starts, and he's given up at least 1 earned run in each of those. Compared to Flexen, in 2 starts, he gave up 0 earned runs. So he has actually been limiting those runs. He just had a few rough outings, but I like him to get back to his mean of being really doggone good and dominant. Last but not least, a couple key trends. Seattle is 7-3 straight up to the plus 1.5, or covering the plus 1.5 rather, in the first 5 innings over their last 10 games. Their straight up record is 4-4-2, but they have covered that plus 1.5, 7-3. So I absolutely love that. These two teams haven't played since 2019, but Seattle is 4-1 in the last 5 historically. So we'll see if that does continue, but I do like that trend to happen here. And last but not least, for the present day, I love Flexen to continue being one of the most winning money pitchers in the MLB right now. Robbie Ray has had his struggles from time to time, especially against this lineup, it does appear. So I think this M's lineup has plenty of firepower. JP Crawford and a few other those guys can get it done against Robbie Ray, and Flexen can definitely keep this game within 1 run if anything does happen on that front. So, all that being said, my first best bet of the day, the Seattle Mariners, first 5 run line, plus 1.5.
I like it, man. I might even sprinkle, maybe a quarter unit on the first 5 actuals straight up money line because, you mentioned everything about Chris Flexen. You nailed it there. He has been really solid, but this Mariners team is sneakily one of the hottest teams in baseball right now, and I'm not even just saying that because they took 2 out of 3 from my White Sox over the weekend. They've been doing it for the last 10 days or so.
Did it to your Rays today, too.
Yeah.
In the past, but
yeah, no question. So I mean, I like the Mariners, especially on top of those Robbie Ray numbers against them, and I did not realize that. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So
absolutely,
with the extra 1.5 run, I love that play for you.
Absolutely, and I want to keep these a little bit more clear, concise, and cut. Some of the key things that I'm seeing. You don't need to know every stat in the book and what they got and yada yada. Let's get right to the point. Why does Colt love it that much? And that's why. So moving on. Second best bet of the day. Thanks, sir. Rolling on over to the matchup between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. And no, just because I'm a Cubby fan doesn't mean I'm making this play. It is actually a very valuable, sharp play. I am taking the Arizona Diamondbacks first 5 run line plus a half. This one for me comes almost 100% down to the pitching matchup, and that both offenses are really, really cold right now, and I am not buying that 7-1 victory for St. Louis last night. Arizona had very poor pitching on the mound, and St. Louis was able to get it done with decent pitching with Adam Wainwright, I do believe it was. Stayed away from the game in general, but today the Diamondbacks finally have some value, even though they consistently have been losing. Told you it's the pitching matchup, and Caleb Smith is going to be on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He has been one of the only guys that Arizona can depend on this season so far. He started off kind of as a bullpen guy. He'd go 2-3 innings. They'd bring in the next bullpen guy. It'd be a bullpen day for the Diamondbacks. Well, he was being so doggone dominant that the D-backs have started to trust him, and he's actually started to go further into games. He's pitched at least 5 innings in 4 out of his last 5 games overall. He's had 2 official road starts and pitched 12 games on the road, so there you officially know he was started out being a bullpen guy. But overall, he's got a 220 opponent batting average allowed and a pretty pristine 2.66 ERA on the road. He holds a 2.73 ERA in the month of June. He's given up 2 runs or less, and it's more like or less, in 8 out of his last 10 games overall, and he owns a 0.00 ERA against this Cardinals team in 2 1/3 innings pitched this year. 12 at-bats, 129 batting average, 152 OBP, and a 581 OPS. Really limited them. I like him to at least go 5 innings against the Cardinals here today, get that ERA, stay right at 0.00, and I think he can get maybe up to a 7 1/3 innings, maybe even 6 1/3 innings. We'll see what happens, but I love Caleb Smith here today, especially going against the opposing pitcher for the Cardinals of Carlos Martinez. Carlos Martinez has been fade city all season long, my friends. He has 14 starts overall, 3-9 record on 73 innings pitched with a 255 opponent batting average, 351 on base percentage allowed, a 678 ERA, and a 1.44 whip. 6 home starts for Martinez so far this year, 256 opponent batting average allowed, 5.85 ERA in Busch Stadium on 32 1/3 innings pitched. He's got 13.73 ERA to his name in the month of June, giving up a combined 30 earned runs in his last 5 starts, and he's only made it out of the 5th inning once in those last 5 starts. He owns a 4.50 ERA against these Diamondbacks this year, and I am not trusting his inconsistent ass. There is no way. I don't care what the Cardinals offense is going to do. Martinez has literally just said, here, opposing team, here's ball, send it over the wall. I cannot back him here today. There's really not any key trends or anything I can tell you about the Diamondbacks because honestly, they have not been good at all this year, but this is a sharp play. This is a spot you need to back them in, and a spot I will happily take the first 5 run line half backing because I think they get it outright, or at least have it tied. So second best bet of the day, Arizona Diamondbacks, first 5 run line plus a half.
Hammered in with you, my man. Carlos Martinez is a revolving door right now.
Dumpster fire.
I didn't dive too deep into him. I was curious to see if you're gonna say his home ERA, and you did, and it's
terrible.
It's bad. It's bad. So yeah, and what
13.73 in June, my friend.
Yeah,
30 earned runs in his last 5.
Yeah, there was a few starts ago where I was thinking it might turn around for him, and he might start to churn out, kind of become what he used to be the last couple of seasons, but it's not going that way.
Well, it started to do that, and then he had a great game against Pittsburgh,
right.
And I actually told you that the last time I faded him, And ever since then, the wheels have just continued to fall off.
Right
So
back off.
there you go. There you have it. Second best bet of the day. Glad you're backing me as well, partner. On to the third best bet of the day, my friends. I am back to the matchup because I need some damn redemption. I am coming with a vengeance. Back to the matchup. Texas Rangers versus Oakland Athletics. And the line is super high for a reason, and I am buying the price. I am taking the Oakland Athletics first 5 run line minus a half. I love the Athletics to get this rebound because I believe they have the same redemption mindset that I have today. You have the exact same pitching matchup last week that I bet on here in Oakland. Mike Foltynewicz, Folty will call him, you know how I do it, versus James Kaprielian. Kaprielian gave up 1 home run. The Rangers walked it off in the bottom of the 5th to lose us the first 5 innings. The A's know that, and there is no way that it comes close to that. Now, if you don't believe me and you just think I'm taking this play because I'm out for a vengeance and want to cash the Oakland Athletics, no. There is plenty more that goes into this play. Now, I already told you the pitching matchup. As for Folty, he has been way too inconsistent and has been terrible on the road. Do not let that last game against these Oakland Athletics fool you. 5 road starts so far for Folty, 349 opponent batting average allowed, 740 ERA on the road, and on 24 and a third innings pitched. So it really hasn't been that many outings or innings and outings so far this season. 9.35 ERA in the month of June for Folty so far. He's given up at least 2 runs or more, as always, on the or more side of things in 9 out of his last 10 starts, and he still gave up 2 earned runs to the A's in that previous game. It was just later in the innings. I like it to happen much earlier here today. And these Oakland Athletics versus Mike Foltynewicz, 40 at-bats, 250 batting average, 374 on base percentage, and an 810 OPS. Give me the A's to beat the mess out of Folty at home here today. But if you don't like all of that, I am also backing the hell out of James Kaprielian, who was really dominant against these Texas Rangers and has been dominant at home. 13 innings pitched at home for him so far. 0.93 opponent batting average allowed and a 0.00 ERA. Overall, still 8 starts for him, 191 opponent batting average, 285 OBP, 1.11 whip, 286 ERA on 44 innings pitched. He's got a 278 ERA in the month of June, and he's given up 2 runs or less in 3 out of his last 5. I absolutely love this pitching matchup, but a few more key trends. Texas, 30th in the MLB in first 5 inning runs per game allowed at a 3.51 average. Oakland, 15th in the MLB in first 5 inning run per game allowed at a 2.28 average. Texas is 19-43 straight up in the last 62 meetings between these two teams, 6-25 in the last 31 meetings in Oakland. I don't need them for the full damn game. I just need them for the first 5, and they just need to be winning by 1 run. I guarantee they do that today. Give me the Oakland Athletics first 5 run line minus a half.
Yeah, I'll be right there with you, my man. I don't know how much more I can add to it. That's 6-25 last 31 in Oakland.
In Oakland, yeah.
That ain't nothing, man. Some of these teams from the Midwest or the East Coast, when they have to travel all the way to the West Coast, it's a struggle historically for them. It doesn't make it. I mean, it makes a little bit of a sense, but
big time.
It's not like it's year to year. I mean, there's just a handful of teams that struggle when they go to the West Coast in certain spots. So, on top of it, I'm just laying that out on top of everything that you said because everything else I love there with you.
Appreciate it. There you go. Thank you, sir. Third best bet of the day. Let's wrap things up with my 4th best bet of the day. Got to go back to my boys. I am taking the San Francisco Giants first 5 run line plus a half once again today. I'm not getting greedy with the money line. We're just sticking it in the first 5. So my boy DeSclafani couldn't get it done for us. 1 out of 2 got to get it done for us, right? I'm backing Kevin Gausman today. He's going up against Walker Buehler for the Dodgers, and Gausman has been the money man for this Giants team. Actually, the road money man for this Giants team, believe it or not. 10 road starts for Gausman so far this season. He's got a 176 opponent batting average allowed, a .02 ERA allowed on the road on 61 2/3 innings pitched. He owns a 1.73 ERA in the month of June so far. He's given up 1 earned run or less in 8 out of his last 10 starts. The or more games were only 2 runs, and that was 2 games, 2 earned runs. And he owns a 0.00 ERA and a .095 opponent batting average in 6 innings pitched against the Los Angeles Dodgers this season. 138 at-bats overall for this Dodgers team against Gausman. 209 batting average, 259 on base percentage, and 574 on base plus slugging. See, didn't think I knew what all the acronyms meant. I do. Moving right along, Buehler. He's been good. He's always been solid for the Dodgers. He's always been solid across the board, but he's been a little too inconsistent for my liking, and you really don't know what you're going to get from him, and Gausman has been the definition of consistent. Just to tell you a little bit more about Buehler, he's given up 2 earned runs or more in 3 out of his last 5 starts, so he definitely has been that inconsistent guy, and his numbers aren't bad, but they're actually a little bit worse at home, as surprisingly as that is. 9 starts, 204 opponent batting average, 283 ERA on 57 1/3 innings pitched. He does actually have a 1.38 ERA versus San Francisco in 13 innings pitched so far this season. So that all kind of leads me to, if anybody's going to mess up here today, it's going to be Walker Buehler. If anybody is going to be ahead, it is going to be the Giants. But once again, we only need them to tie it. Final thoughts on this play. The Giants are 4-0 straight up in the last 4 Gausman starts as a road dog. They are 5-0 in his last 5 starts as a dog overall, and 6-0 in his last 6 starts versus the NL West. Buehler on the mound for these two teams when he faced them previously back on May the 28th. The game was tied 2-2 after the first 5 innings. That's right, I'm getting that deep. When Gausman faced these Dodgers back on May the 30th, San Francisco won the first 5 innings 5-0, and they faced Clayton Kershaw. That's right, I went that deep on you. The Giants are going to rebound today. I don't want to hear any of the nonsense that they're falling off the table. They're still hot. They're still one of the best teams in baseball. If anybody's going to be leading in the first 5, it's going to be the Giants. But hey, we can have them tie it too. So, 4th and final best bet of the day. San Francisco Giants, first 5 run line, plus a half.
I think I'm right there with you. I think it's going to be a real low-scoring game. I've been high on Walker Buehler lately, but I can't deny that Kevin Gausman has been better, and I'll be right there with Kevin Gausman, and I think I'll be riding with you.
Hey, it might be 0-0.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
But that's a winner.
0-0, 1-1.
That's a winner in our favor.
Yeah. So I think I'll be right there with you. Like I said, I really like Walker Buehler, but Gausman undoubtedly has been better. So
too doggone good. So there you go. There you have it. My 4 best bets of the day. RMags 4 best bets of the day. The 8 favorite picks coming from the TTL crew today. Hope you heard them all and hammered them in right away. If not, we'll recap them all shortly on the best bets of the day segment. But moving right along, quick pit stop by the special play of the day. You heard it once already, but once again, it's time for the Twofer Tuesday Parlay. Told you 1 NBA leg, 1 MLB leg. Partner, I'm going to let you kick things off. I don't really care which way you go here. I think you have a little bit more information than I potentially do on the baseball play, so maybe if I can lead you in that direction.
The baseball play?
Yeah, piggyback anything there, and after a quick sip of some high-quality H2O, I will be right back on the microphone.
Alrighty, no worries. First play out of this one, coming out of the Pirates versus Rockies game, we are taking the Rockies on the run line at home, -1.5. You've got Chase DeYoung on the mound for the Pirates versus German Marquez for the Rockies. And I really like German Marquez, especially at home. In 6 of his last 7 starts overall, he has allowed 1 earned run or less. He has 1 terrible start on the road in June. I mentioned he is better at home, but 6 out of 7 starts, 1 earned run or less. He has been lights out aside from that 1 start. And now you got let's see, Chase DeYoung. Don't know much about this guy. He is making his 5th start on the season. He's got a 4.94 ERA over those 5 starts. And I think that number is going to start ticking up. He's got a career ERA well over 6 earned runs in his career. Not a guy that typically is at the forefront of a starting pitching rotation. Typically gets thrown in there brought up from AAA, or maybe a little trade out of necessity because some people have injuries. And that's the case right here. And I think his number is going to start skyrocketing, and it starts today in Coors Field, and the Rockies are going to put up a handful of runs on him, in my opinion, partner.
Absolutely, my friend. Not a whole lot I can add to that. The Rockies are just so doggone good in Coors Field this year. One thing I did want to add, though, that the Rockies run line is currently getting 91% of the bets without any money signal on that. So generally tends to mean that it's about 99% of the money, or it's 99.8% of the money, because the old P roots there were only getting about 9% of the bets on that run line. So like that early here today, especially with that being one of the later games on today's slate. I do believe this one is right around 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. May 7 or 8 might be one of those.
And for a game like this, there are certain cases where that would scare me as far as a ton of public. This doesn't seem like a game that's going to have a lot of volume from the public on it.
Not at all.
Pirates and Rockies, especially not the Rockies run line, I don't think. So I think what that says to me is that's a lot of people that are a little bit more educated. Not to say the public's not educated in certain spots, but definitely doesn't scare me as much as a game like the next one we're going to talk about, if that was the case.
Absolutely. So there you go. First leg on the Twofer Tuesday parlay, the Colorado Rockies -1.5. Second leg, we're going to the NBA, the lone conference final game on tap tonight. Milwaukee Bucks versus Atlanta Hawks. We're going to skip aside. Told you I might like the Hawks overall. It's still trying to get to 7.5. If it does, I'm hammering the hell out of it. I hope you do too. But we are going to go to the game total. Total is set at 218.5, and we are taking over 218.5 in this matchup. Couple key reasons, these last few playoff games have really been key indicators, and we really watch trends and pick up trends when it comes to the NBA and capping them. The last two games between these two teams have gone under. They've consistently dropped the point total. This is now the lowest point total in the last three games, actually, overall between these two teams. So, it's a setup line. There's nothing else you can really say about it. Right now, the line has, it opened up, excuse me, I do apologize, backed out real quick. The line did open up at 223.5, and it has now dropped down to 218.5, despite the over currently getting 34% of bets and a whopping 84% of actual money wagered on this total. So yeah, I have to back the sharps there. I have to stick to my sharp knowledge with what I know from what I've seen in the NBA playoffs so far. Actually, not to mention yesterday's 214.5 play on the over was this pretty much exact analysis and trends. It's a sharp play. Take the over for the second leg here on the 218.5.
Yeah, no question. I can't add too much on that side of it. Even the storylines, I think the Atlanta Hawks are going to come back with a little bit more firepower on offense.
Yeah.
I think some of their role players are going to start pouring it in a little bit more in this game. Someone like Kevin Huerter probably. Despite I saw an update already that Trae Young was in shoot-around today, so it doesn't seem like he's going to miss this game. I think he's going to, give it everything he's got, and I don't think, at least offensively scoring the ball, it's going to hurt him too much.
I'm really not buying into that too much. With all of the advances in modern medicine, if it's not a deep sprain or an actual broken ankle or something like that, the cryo stuff they have, the big boots you've seen those guys wear that puffs up to that big around their legs and pumps hot and cold air in there and all this stuff, I think he's going to be a lot better than the public is expecting him to be. I mean, it was at the end of the game. Everybody was tired anyway, and I think he had it in his mind too that, hey, I think this game is out of reach. I don't need to push this. We need to focus more on the future instead of me potentially being screwed. So all that being said, we are skipping sides. We are taking the over 218.5 for our second leg on the Twofer Tuesday parlay. With all that being said, let's just get right into the recap of today's best bets of the day. Without further ado, they are now live on your screen. We are coming to you live from beautiful Oakland
Coliseum.
It is Oakland Coliseum still.
They might have a sponsor name on there. I'm honestly not sure.
I have no idea either. Nonetheless, you're not here for the stadium. You're here for the picks. So, top left of your screen, if you're not watching, but listening, you would have no idea. So listen on up, get out those sports books. Let's hammer them in. The TTL Crew's best bets of the day. RMags, 4 best bets. He's taking the Miami Marlins, first 5 money line. The Tampa Bay Rays, first 5 money line. The Atlanta Braves, first 5 money line. And the Milwaukee Brewers, -1.5. On the right side of your screen, my 4 best bets coming at you today. I'm taking the Seattle Mariners, first 5 run line +1.5. The Arizona Diamondbacks, first 5 run line +0.5. San Francisco Giants, first 5 run line +0.5. And the Oakland A's, first 5 run line -0.5. Moving right along into the special play of the day right below all of our best bets, the Twofer Tuesday Parlay, now live on your screen one more time. Overall odds right around +289 the last time I checked. Milwaukee Bucks versus Atlanta Hawks over 218.5, and Colorado Rockies -1.5. Parlay those up for the aforementioned Twofer Tuesday Parlay, and there you have the TTL Crew's 9 best bets of the day.
I love it. I love them all.
Love them all. We're turning the ship in the right direction. We have consistently been on the up escalator. You know, we just
got our shoelace stuck in the escalator.
We just got our shoelace stuck. We had to stop off on the second floor for a minute. Now it's time to just skyrocket to the rooftop, all right? So without further ado, Hammerman, lock 'em home, sprinkle a little bit of cheddar down, whatever you like to say. Just make sure you get today's best bets from the TTL Crew in at whatever the current best line is on your favorite sports book. Now, you might also see some additional words on the screen here. Once again, if you're listening, you wouldn't see these, but we got the Moneyline Dice coming in hot. 2-0 start to the week. Hammered in the Dodgers on the, or not the Dodgers, the Angels last night. I was thinking LA. I don't know. I knew I was on the Yankees. That was bizarre. I was on the Yankees and the Angels. I saw Angels and I still said Dodgers. That's weird. Either way, the Angels money line last night cashed with ease, and the under 10.5 that they took as well cashed with ease. So now, once again, the Moneyline Dice have officially chipped away to even back to 500, 25, 25, and 1. 51 official bets on the TTL Pod. Congratulations, Dice. Congratulations.
What a show.
What a show.
What a show, by the way.
What a show. All right. So without further ado, it's time to get into today's Moneyline Dice roll of the day. As always, the dice have officially made it to set. They are live. As I get them out and prepared for their usual episodic roll, and get everything else set up for the viewing pleasure of our viewers at home, could you be so kind, Mr. Magnuson, as to set the scene here? Little home away, little fave dog, little what the hell is the point total, little where the hell are we playing, little any backstories we need to know about in this game, if you could be so kind.
I will go ahead and do just that.
Thank you, sir.
So Padres Reds here coming in to Cincinnati. Padres are rolling out Blake Snell, left-hander. A little bit of a shaky season for him. Not quite what you expected from the guy after the big acquisition. However, he is coming off of a 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs versus the Dodgers. So potentially now could be the time that he turns it around. I said that a few weeks ago, had a similar start, and then followed that up with a big ol' crooked number on the board for whoever he was facing. I don't even remember. But he is facing Tony Santillan on the mound for the Reds, and Santillan has not made too many starts. This will be his 4th, actually, 24-year-old, and not too bad so far, 3.29 ERA. The Reds have won 2 out of those 3 games, actually. Lost to the Padres already. He threw 3 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, gave up 2 home runs. So still a little bit of a toss-up here. Home and away splits for these teams. The Reds are 19-18 at home, while the Padres are 17-18 on the road. So pretty much of a pretty big toss-up here. Padres coming in as the favorite, -150, with the Reds coming in at +128 on the run line. The Padres are -1.5, +102, with the Reds coming in at -118 on the +1.5 run line. Over under for this one is set at 10. My early gut says under, but I don't know because that's why we put it up to the dice, because I have no idea. Sharp money is coming in on the over. 52% of bets on the over, while 76% of money on the under. So the actual on the action app here, the sharp indicator is for the over, while the big money is coming in on the under. The money line here, Padres getting decent amount of the action here. 65% of the bets coming in on the Padres money line and 72% of the money. So pretty big toss up here. No idea what's going to happen. Is Blake Snell going to continue being the pitcher that we thought he was going to be, or is he going to revert back to being the mediocre? Who the hell knows what we're getting here out of Blake Snell, guy that we've kind of seen all season long. Partner, are we ready?
Sir, we are ready. Who knows what we're going to find out? Who knows what we're going to see? But that's why we leave it up to the Moneyline Dice. There is no other entity we would rather have make this choice for us. So without further ado, now live on your screen,
Bang.
the Moneyline Dice and the legendary hammer. So without further ado, let me grab these bad boys up on here from you real quick. Let me give them a nice shake. Wake them up here. I'll let you guys even hear it,
Well, that sounds good.
Oh, hey, maybe we start a little ASMR channel here over at TTL.
Dice ASMR.
So there you go. They're awake. They're live. You see they're real. Without further ado, as always, the first roll of the day, home or away. Are we siding with the away team, San Diego Padres, or the home team, Cincinnati Reds, in 3, in 2, in 1?
Whoa.
I'm not even going to touch because it stayed fine.
Away team Padres.
Away team Padres it is. There you are. There you have it. Now, ATS or Moneyline. Do these dice think they're going to get it done handily, or do we just need to have them get it done by 1, in 3, in 2, in 1?
Money line. Minus 150 on the money line.
Okay, so Padres money line for the first official pick. Now for the wild card, roll to the total, re-roll, or double down. 3, 2, 1.
Under.
Take it under again. Okay.
Dice listen to my gut, apparently.
So
Probably not. They said no, hell not.
There.
No, the hell not.
There you have it. The dice have spoken. If you want a guaranteed take 2 tickets to the window tonight, the dice working on their record to go 27, 25, and 1 officially on the TTL Pod. Lock in the San Diego Padres money line and under 10 runs. Thank you, dice.
Thank you, Dice.
Thank you, dice. No additional rolls today. No craziness. They said we're shooting straight for the punch. We don't need any re-rolls. We don't need no double downs. We're going to give you 2 bangers once again, right away. So there you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Love to see it, Dice.
Away they go. Thank you very much, Moneyline Dice.
Thank you, Dice.
We appreciate you. Let me just get you put away right off the bat, huh? So I ain't got to worry about it. So that does it for today's Moneyline Dice roll of the day. Once again, for those of you who could not see it live on your screen for one reason or another, San Diego Padres Moneyline and the under 10 runs in the game total. Thank you, Dice.
Thank you, Dice.
Oh, as always, quick reminder, you want your own Moneyline Dice, nice and easy. We put the link in this episode's description. It is moneylinedice.com. Very easy. We also put our coupon code on there for you as well. You might see some other jokers saying, oh, hey, we like Moneyline Dice too. You should get with us. Well, you shouldn't, because they don't trust Moneyline Dice like we do. We roll 5 days a week, and, they don't roll 1 day a week. They just trying to get a little extra backing, if you will. We believe in the dice. They are present on every show. And if you want your own, go enter code TTL10 at checkout. Once you pick out everything you need on moneylinedice.com, you're going to get 10% off your first order. And you can start rolling right alongside the crew every single day on every single episode, and even on Saturday and Sunday too. So get your own moneylinedice.com easily in this episode's description.
Thank you, Dice.
Thank you, Dice. Thank you, Dice. Thank you, Dice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for the Moneyline Dice roll of the day. Outside of that, let me briefly, before I send the kind gambling folks out of here, let me close that. One moment, going back to this, just so I can. All right. So here we are. That does it for the first half of episode 69 of the Talking the Line podcast. If you are one of the kind, gambling, betting, degenerate folks that just stops by for the first half of the show for our best bets of the day, the special play, the analysis, the trends, and everything in between, and you're about to head on out of here, first things first, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, taking a few moments to kick it with me and Mags, for getting in the trenches with us every single day and going to battle with these books. All jokes aside, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you. We do this for each and every one of you, and we are going to keep analyzing, inciting, researching, all the above to get better and better and better at handicapping and analyzing these sports betting picks to make them better for you so we can run them to the window all the time. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you to the moon and back. But if you are out of here, don't stay away for too long now. We need you back on Wednesday's show because we got another battle with the books and we need your help bankrupting them one play at a time. So peace and love. Have a spectacular rest of your Tuesday. But for you, kind TTL faithful, sticking around for the second half of today's show, it is time to get into some nonsense, some banter, some ranting, some reactions on today's, shouldn't have said it already, but Rants and Reactions. I'm just full of it today. I'm all over the place.
Brought it home.
So there we go. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. As always, for the viewing pleasure of those of you at home, that was one of the worst throws so far. Moving on into today's Rants and Reactions. First pit stop, we are going to be meandering on through, if you will. We're stopping by the 8-sided circle. The Octagon, the UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, the premier fighting destination in the world today. You know, they got me a little chapped.
Me as well, my man. Me as well.
And we'll go all the way through this and who actually is all behind this. But, you know, I've been a fan of the UFC and watching religiously since you could only get pay-per-views once every 6 months, so well over a decade. And, you know, they've done this in the past, and I didn't think that they would do it again. But here we go.
Is this the worst of it?
No, they did this almost, I'll get into this too, with the previous champion.
Okay.
So first things first, if you don't know, we are going to the heavyweight division where shit has hit the fan. Told you guys, I promised you guys I was bringing you in-depth stuff here on the UFC and the world of MMA. This is in-depth. So you have champion Francis Ngannou. He has been the champion for about 3 months now, won in dominant fashion.
Very convincingly.
We have seen him for a total of 20 seconds in the year 2021. Very deserving of that championship, very deserving not only from his backstory, but who the fighter that Stipe was and still is. Francis is by far one of the baddest men on the planet at 235, 225 plus, 235 plus, whatever it is now. That all being said, you had Cyril Gane fight Alexander Volkov this past weekend. Cyril Gane won in a 5-round unanimous decision. Very great fight. So obviously he's got to move up the rankings. He is now number 3. Number 2 is the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, and number 1 is Stipe. Well, Stipe's out for a while, so we got 2 and 3. In my mind, everybody's mind, Derek Lewis is the next one up. He deserves it. He's been fighting absolutely terrifically. He's been blowing through the competition without any trouble whatsoever. So it's his time to face Francis. And everybody wants to see that. Those are the 2 best heavyweights right now, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion right now in the heavyweight division in the UFC. So they come up with the date of August 7th. And Francis says, can't do it. One reason or another. Don't really know all the logistics of that. But he's the champion.
A little too soon.
He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
A little quick for him.
A little too quick. I want a little bit of extra time. He can do whatever he wants. Every other champion in the UFC is afforded that pleasure. Just because Francis hasn't racked in the real pay-per-view money yet and hasn't had the long time in the cage, the UFC is sliding him. So then they propose, all right, you can't do that. Let's do September the 25th. And he says, no question, no problem, I'm in. Give me the contract, I'll sign on the dotted line. I just want an extra month. No problem. UFC says, okay. We'll also get into that. Who is the UFC? Who's making these calls? That's also a little something interesting I'm going to get into too. However, he says, send me the contract. I'm on it. No problem at all. So a few days go by. No contract, no contract, no contract. UFC announces now that they couldn't find anything else and they needed to beef up that August 7th card as previously stated. So they are now pushing Ngannou to the side, potentially threatening to strip him, and allowing Cyril Gane and Derek Lewis to fight for the interim heavyweight title on August the 7th. What are we even talking about? Because first things first, Francis Ngannou wasn't even afforded that luxury to fight for the IC against Jairzinho Rozenstruik back in 2019. So why are we even here? What problem does the UFC have against Ngannou? I don't really get this at all, and I can't wait to see Ngannou talk with Ariel Helwani in the next couple days because it is always electric when those two get together, and Helwani has been on top of this like nobody else.
That's what I was going to say.
So then, he is actually who led me down my next rabbit hole of Hunter Campbell, who, you're saying, who the fuck is that? Right, exactly. If you listen to some of Uncle Dana's post-fight pressers, he is the attorney that he always refers to in those meetings. We got to talk. I got to talk with the attorney. He is the attorney. Per Ariel Helwani, as I understand it, he is a GM of sorts and basically pulls all the strings, make the plays in regards to fighter contracts, fighter rosters, all that stuff, just like you would see a baseball GM, if you can picture it in that way, but in regards to just fighters on a roster, but doesn't have to answer to anybody, doesn't have to ever face the media, doesn't have to ever show his face really, or really have to even put his stamp on anything that the UFC does, but he basically has all the cards. So, with all that being said, there's even more to this that we don't know. There could be something between Campbell and Ngannou. Who knows what's going on there? Who knows what the deal is with all of that? But then you start looking even further into this, and you wonder why the UFC couldn't just wait an extra month. You wonder why John Jones is still even in the conversation at this point. Now when we now have an IC fight that is interim champion for you guys, for anybody who didn't know, an IC fight, while we have a standing heavyweight champion, there is no, there's nothing there. The Stipe case, when Francis should have got his IC fight, Stipe was out for 9 months, not to mention. And then everything all together, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Ngannou has done nothing but been dedicated to the UFC. This has been his whole life, his whole dream, his whole journey, everything he's done coming from the coal mines in Cameroon, or I think it's Cameroon. I hope I didn't misspeak there.
Yeah, it is.
Either way, this was his destiny, and now you're going to potentially strip it from him and are going in a completely other direction just because he hasn't fought for 3 months and needed an extra month. Do you realize all the extra craziness that is going on? You don't need to have an Ngannou Lewis right after McGregor Poirier. It's all good. You can find another main event. There could have been a way better main event besides an interim belt between Cyril Gane and Derek Lewis, for crying out loud. Rant the fuck over.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one thing if Ngannou was, not expressing that he was going to come back shortly after that, or like, maybe I need more time, as in like months on months on months. It's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. I don't get it.
Not at all.
And like you said, and Francis is unquestionably, undoubtedly the baddest, I would say the baddest man on the planet right now.
He's the baddest dude on the planet, no question.
It's unquestionable.
No question.
And, I'm interested in this fight, Lewis versus Gane, on the surface. You know, narratives aside, I like that fight.
Sure.
But for the interim belt, it's fucking ridiculous.
There's no reason for there to be an interim belt. And whoever wins for the real belt between Ngannou and Lewis, what it should be, then Gane gets them. Sure. I mean, that's just fine. Gane can wait. But the other thing is like, then who does Gane fight? Let him fight somebody else. Let him fight Curtis Blades. Let him fight somebody who has been sitting in the top 5 for the last 6, 8, 12, 13 months.
Right.
Let him fight one of those guys. He doesn't need to fight Derek Lewis. Yes, Ciryl Gane has been fighting great and proved that he can hold his own against a dominant striker in Alexander Volkov. Fine.
He's got time.
No problem. He's got plenty of time to get that championship fight, especially to get bumped up in front of some of those other guys who have had a few hiccups in the road but have been just fine, and I think could hold their own against Ciryl given enough and a good training camp. But that's neither here nor there. There you go. There you have it. Kind of disappointed with what's going on there in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, like you said, I'm interested to hear Francis's opinion on it. I mean,
yeah, I'll be all over Helwani.
Because you mentioned Helwani's been all over it. He's been all over, what the hell is going on here? This doesn't really make sense. That's kind of the side he's been on himself. So. Yeah, it's good rant.
There you go. There you have
rant.
a good rant.
Good rant.
We'll be sure to continue to cover that. I will be sure to continue to dive deep into UFC and the world of MMA and bring you the latest. Actually, a little bit more info from the world of MMA or former MMA or just all-encompassing MMA. We had Joe Schilling, former Bellator and Glory fighter. If you don't know what Glory is, it is K1 kickboxing, Muay Thai. And then you also have Bellator, which is basically the closest competition you can get to UFC, I would say, outside of like PFL. They're pretty much on the same level. Well, Joe Schilling is a bad dude. One of them bad dudes that just looks like a fighter. One of them guys that said, yeah, I'm going to be a fighter for the rest of my life. I'm just going to get my forehead tattooed and then everything else on my body. So, hey, yeah, awesome. I have my own work, no problem, whatever, no big deal. I'm not saying anything like that, but the dude looks like he could kill me.
Sure does.
I would probably be pretty damn respectful in any situation that I find myself in with him.
Or anyone who looks like that.
Or anybody who looks like that, for fuck's sakes. Period. So, little did you not know about me, I used to work at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. The green machine, if you will. A few years back. And so starting everything off, kind of going back, why I say that, I'll tell you in a minute. I'll tell you that in a minute. But there is a video that I posted on my Twitter of this whole scene that happened, but I will lay the scene for you, if you will. So you have a young man, and you could about pick him out of a crowd. Your typical car dealership salesman, if you will. Black slacks, gray button-up long sleeve shirt, the classic black and gray tie, striped tie to match, worst combo I've ever seen in my life. The nice Dockers, the whole deal. Well, he's got his girl standing next to him talking to a table, and you can just see how he's working, and he thinks he's a gangster. You could just see how he's carrying himself. So, okay, no problem, whatever. That was the first thought in my head. Well, enter Joe Schilling from the very back, coming from the restrooms, draining the main vein. He says, I ain't got no time for this bullshit. I'm trying to eat dinner. Dude's standing in the middle of the walkway, so he just kind of puts his hand on his back and just pushes him out of the way and keeps continuing to walk. As he continues to walk, Joe kind of shakes his head as the guy mumbled something, and Joe continues to walk. Well, then you hear the guy say, "Hey!" To which Joe stops and turns around, as any other man who looks like that would. I do have a stepfather who is 6'4", north of 2 bills, and would probably do the exact same thing because he looks quite similar to Joe Schilling without all the tattoos. This young man then proceeds to look Joe Schilling in the eye, mutter some stuff you can't see on camera, and then one of these. And when the one of these came and he decided that he was going to get puffy-chested on Joe Schilling remembered everything over the last 20 years in the octagon and said, suck, 1 piece or 2 piece in a soda, and nighty-night went this boy. And when I say nighty-night, he was pushing up daisies on the ground. This boy was sleepy sleep. And Joe Schilling, calm, cool, collected, knocked this man the fuck out, and then walked right back to his seat and continued to eat his dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, fighters are a different breed of human. Word to the wise, next time you see a man with tattoos on his fucking forehead, just let him push you out of the way. Don't say anything. Now, Joe Schilling is trying to say this was self-defense, which
I don't know if that's going to go over so well.
is a bit comical in its own right. Granted, the dude was way out of line and should have never done that to Joe Schilling, but Joe Schilling probably shouldn't have knocked him out. So
I mean,
we'll see what happens.
on the surface, you've got a guy who's about 6'3", 6'4", probably.
Oh, easy money.
Yeah, and the other guy looked about every bit of 5'10".
Yeah.
So, I mean, on that surface value, you can say, come on, Joe, you know that wasn't any damn self-defense. What the hell is that gonna
5'10", and the most athletic activity he's had was an 8th grade PE class.
Yeah,
so.
basically. So, I mean, but at the same time, if it's two guys like our size, we're pretty similar size, maybe, give or take, certain aspects of it, I suppose. But if I did this to you, you're probably going to do the same thing to me and probably throw a right hook at me.
Correct.
So,
especially with my past. Also, you guys didn't know, used to be an amateur MMA fighter. So, yeah, I kind of have that wiring as well. Don't flex on me if you don't want to catch one of these.
If you really dive into it, is it self-defense?
Not saying, I'm just saying.
Right. Is it really self-defense when you really dive into it? Because this dude's a solid 6 inches and probably another solid 100 pounds of muscle heavier than him. No.
Oh, but why I mentioned I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. This guy, Enterprise Rent-A-Car branch rental manager to a T. Yeah. To a T. And if any of our fans out there, anybody watching, is a former Green Machine employee, first of all, I'm right here with you. Former clone. Glad to see you. But you could pick him out of a crowd. He's every single branch manager you ever seen. So I mean, it got me. That was the first thought in my head, and then I thought, oh wow, this guy thinks he's really tough. Oh wow, this is a really big guy walking in the background. Oh no, he just said hey for him to turn around. He went to sleep.
Yeah, I think all of us know about at least 5 of those dudes.
Yeah.
You see that dude, you're like, oh, you know what? This guy reminds me of this person, this person.
I used to know that guy in college. Yeah. Big time. But that does it for the MMA, the UFC. Wanted to share that with you guys. And make sure if you want to see that video, go to my Twitter page. It's only about 30 seconds long, but it is electrifying. Let me tell you that. But moving right along. Nothing crazy coming out of the NFL. We'll keep the eyes peeled, eyes wide as we move on to now. Hashtag 72 days until the start of the regular NFL football season. It is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. If you also didn't see me on Twitter last night, I broke out the old helmet mug. You did. Last night. Had to give her a little test run. I hadn't given her a test run yet, and I said, I can't wait another 73 days. I gotta relax. I gotta get this sucker out of the cabinet.
Yeah, I need to dust off the old stadium cups. The stadium cups. I got 3 or 4 of those bad boys.
Yeah, I got them big Hooters 32 ounces too. I like to use on my Sundays. Those are for the boys. I got about 6 of those bad boys. So there you go. There you have it. Nothing major in the NFL. Quick little pit stop because I want to save the rest of the time for the MLB. Quick little pit stop. NBA playoffs. 2 words. Well, I guess 2 words in a letter. Playoff P. 41 points dropped by PG-13 last night, ladies and gentlemen. That man went the hell off. The unfortunate part, much like as Rob Perez said, now the Clippers have to depend on PG to do this for the next 4 games, in order for, or 3 games, 2 games. I'm sorry, 2 games. They only have to play 7. That would be like, Okay, so 2 games. That is the unfortunate part, though, because it does not look like Kawhi is going to be back. Actually, happy birthday, Kawhi Leonard. I know you're not watching. 30th birthday. If anybody is watching that happens to know him by some random perchance, tell him we said happy birthday, Kawhi. 30th birthday for the big man, big 3-0. Yeah, unfortunately, they won't have him back. No, you can speak a lot more on this than I can. Obviously, I'm the handicapping side, but what do you think? You think the Clips have any shot? You think Ty Lue still has an opportunity? I mean, Ty Lue said it yesterday. They got a chance to come back 3-1 or 2 days ago, whatever it was now.
Yeah,
so
I was kind of saying yes. I don't think I said it on the pod. Maybe it was off of, just you and I talking. But if the Clippers got that game last night, I like their chances in Game 6. But like you said, Paul George has to do maybe not 40 points, but at least 30, 35 if they want a chance at taking it, because that Suns offense has still got a little bit of question marks the last few games with Chris Paul coming back and Devin Booker not being what everyone has expected him to be. But I still lean Suns in 7.
If the Clips can get out and set the tone, that's what I've seen when watching the Clippers.
No question.
If they get out early, get one of those 6-0, 7-0, 9-0 leads going on, they just never look back. They never turn around.
Because, does Paul George have the talent to do this again for another 2 games? No question.
Hell yeah.
But I tweeted it last night. There's not any single person in sports, in my opinion, unless I'm blanking on somebody, that goes from hero to, I don't know if villain's the right word, or just scapegoat.
Yeah, I guess scapegoat.
Hero to scapegoat, back and forth, more than Paul George. And,
more than playoff P.
More than playoff P. And, that's kind of why I'm leaning Suns in 7, because you have to imagine, given those trends, that he's going to have at least one game where he kind of, misses a couple of free throws, or it doesn't show up in a quarter or something like that, because that's kind of been the trend.
Right.
And, obviously he was fantastic last night. So
okay, so Game 6, line's already out. Clippers open -1 favorites in LA. You backing them? You fading them? You think they get Game 6 and then this happens, Suns in 7?
Yeah, I think they get Game 6, man.
Okay, because I liked it too. I like that Clippers -1.5 or -1.
Their defense has been great whenever it's in LA too.
Yeah,
so that's kind of the other reason
absolutely. And their whole motto last night was just make it back home.
Yeah,
just make it back home. That's all they needed to do, one game at a time. So now they're back in LA. And I, too, think that I'm going to be backing them tomorrow on the -1. You got Bucks Hawks tonight. I think I'm going to hammer in the Hawks +7 regardless. One thing I've learned in these playoffs, when everybody and their dogs is backing a favorite at a large point total, that favorite 90% of the time is not going to cover.
Right.
And another 90% of the time, probably going to lose that game outright. It's just how it's happened, but I can tell you, I'll say 99% of the time won't cover, 90% of the time they'll lose the game outright. So I think I got to hammer in the Hawks just because everybody is back in Milwaukee. Everybody knows the storylines, and this is gambling at the end of the day. This is Vegas at the end of the day. You think that they're just going to give you a juicy Milwaukee line that easy and just continue to tick it up all day and, hey, keep hammering it. Keep throwing your money at it. Right. People will keep making it better for you. It's not how Vegas works. I hate to tell you. I've been doing this for a short time, but just long enough to know that that is not how Vegas works, ladies and gentlemen. So I think I got to go with the Hawks tonight +7. Do I think they get the outright win? 50-50. I think they got to get one in Atlanta, and I mean, why the hell not game 5 here, right?
Game 4.
Game 4. It's 2-1. Duh. So yeah, why not game 4? They got to get one in ATL. I think the place will be rocking. I think that Trae Young, much like I said earlier, advances in modern medicine. One of these little deals. Like if it was. Because I've had sprained ankles and stuff before, and you know how serious those are. But I think it's a little bit less than that, and I think that if he was at shoot-around today and there's not really any questions and he was exploding off of it, I think he's going to be okay tonight.
Yeah, I'm a little wishy-washy. I think I'm going to stay away from the spread. I think it's going to be a sweaty one. I think it's going to come right around that
little backdoor cover.
Maybe. But I took the Clippers last night and made the money on that, and I like the over tonight plenty more than I like either side here. So
Same.
I think I'm staying away.
So might have to do that. We'll see. Like I said, if it goes up to 7.5, I 150% am definitely taking that son of a bitch. So just word from the wise for you there. Don't want to talk about it, but I got to real quick. NHL Stanley Cup playoff action. My Habs lost 5-1 last night. Son of a bitch. What the hell's going on? No, I'm not jumping off the ship. No, I ain't off the bandwagon. No, there is no way I'm not going to continue to back my Habs. You can all piss off. You can all pound sand. I ain't going to hear none of the negativity or any of the bullshit. The defending champs had to get the first game. Whatever. Partner, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
It was not quite what I expected. I thought it was going to be a lot lower scoring from both sides. Obviously,
Me too.
lower scoring from the Habs, but I don't know, man. I think it's. I mean, we've seen this in the all playoff long, where it could be a 5-1 game or anything. 8-0 we've seen, 7-1, and every single time the team that gets on the the receiving end of that beatdown, maybe not every single time, but there's been a lot of times where the team that's on the receiving end of that beatdown bounces back
Easy.
Bounces back in the next game, and in many cases they've won the series. So,
well, my thoughts on this whole deal going on. It's incredibly hard to win a championship of any sport in back-to-back years, and I kind of view this Tampa Bay Lightning team like the Kansas City Chiefs.
okay,
Super high-powered, very great team. Now, do I view the Habs as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Really, but they do have some big brand names. They do have some guys that can get it done. I think that Shea Weber wakes up. I think we see Cole Caulfield start having some big games. I think that just Game 7 was a little bit too big for the young man. He had a beautiful shot, a shot that he puts in 9 times out of 10 that just went right over the goalie's shoulder, right over Vasilevsky's shoulder, and then just right over the bar. I mean, 9 times out of 10 he puts that in. So I just think it was a little early game 1 jitters, and the Habs will be just fine in Game 2, and then especially going into Montreal. I think that is going to play heavy here for the Lightning, who haven't even really had to travel all too far so far, I do believe. I think they've been a lot on the East Coast. So.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm still on my Habs. You're not getting me off of them. I don't care what you want to do. Carry on. Last thing to stop by here. MLB, back to the war on sticky stuff. Just a quick pit stop. Nothing crazy. Obviously, no checks, no ejections, nothing of no new noteworthy last night because something slipped under the radar. And I'm here waving the red flag, MLB. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? What are you guys running out here, this Mickey Mouse show, everybody getting ejected? You got Mr. Hernandez. Santiago Hernandez getting destroyed.
Hector
Santiago. Either way, I don't know his doggone name. I don't care. He's a pitcher on the Seattle Mariners in relief. I don't care. It's you. Only reason you know is because he's a previous Sox pitcher. Either way. What's going on out here? What am I talking about? Well, let me indulge you. Yesterday, we took the Houston Astros -1.5 and -2.5 on the Monday Madness Parlay. And those Baltimore Orioles got the job done. And those pitchers were looking good against one of the hotter teams in the MLB. Actually, one of the hottest teams in the MLB at home. And they just so happened to be back at Minute Maid and seemed to be great, and Greinke's on the mound. And it wasn't the case. So I dove deep into a little bit of Twitter, and a good friend over at John Boy Media shared a video of something that I don't believe a lot of people have seen, and I think it needs to be discussed. Orioles bullpen. Let me take you there. Last night, late innings. We have a young man warming up, not sure of the name. Couldn't really see it on the back plate. But you have him standing like so. And another pitcher, not a trainer, not a coach, not any type of any other thing, a pitcher, a relief pitcher, walks over with tub of who the fuck knows, blue medical glove on one hand, swipes on in that tub, and then goes up underneath our relief pitcher's armpit and does a little one of those numbers. Pitcher does a quick little bit of this and sticks his glove back on his hand. And as the other pitcher is walking away, he does one of these. As to say, fuck, I hope that works. So I don't think enough people are talking about this. My partner didn't even see this happen. I had to show him the video this morning. He didn't believe me. He said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I didn't see none of that stuff. I showed him the video. He said, holy shit, that is a little suspicious.
It's very suspicious.
So at first, my first thought, a little icy hot, little something. He's got something going on in the rotator cuff. First of all, why like this? Why just write like a quick swipe? Second of all, why another relief pitcher?
Right.
Third of all, why a medical glove? That just leads me to think that is all types of sticky stuff, all types of foreign substance.
Maybe he's a, chronic sweater. But then again, why wouldn't it be a trainer?
Why wouldn't it be a trainer?
Exactly.
It makes no sense. I highly suggest you go to John Boy Media. I might actually retweet it after we get off the pod here.
Yeah, you should.
Make my own video of it so it'll come out so you guys can see that, because I am waving the red flag. I say the Baltimore Orioles cheated us last night. It is not fair. And somehow the Tampa Bay Lightning used foreign substances on their skates too. That's how that one lost.
Well, now you're kind of losing yourself. You're losing it.
Hold on. Let me fucking tinfoil hat. Hold on. Sorry. But I suggest you look into it. I'll put it out there so you have video coverage of it, but that as well.
It was suspicious.
It was very, very, very suspicious. So I've been on the stories today. Colt's been on story time here today.
Armpit checks now too.
I think we need to check everything. But then it's just, oh boy, on episode number 69. How about that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for the war on sticky stuff. Last couple bit of items here before we wrap up the Rants and Reactions, get into the motivation minutes, wrap up episode number 69. Quick reminder, Action Network app, already told you, but at @cash_with_Colt, at RMags all caps, at Talking the Line, all of the best bets of the day. Visit this episode's description. Couldn't think of what I was trying to say there for the Talking the Line link tree. That'll have all of our social platforms, all of our additional content. We're actually working on a few things in the background right now, as far as trying to get back into writing. That's how we started this. We had our daily newsletter. We are working actively outside of the pod and outside of all the other nonsense we have ourselves into to get back into writing, to get some sort of a website platform, other stuff out there for you guys, and then dive into a few more shows, some to deal with betting, some to deal with not, some to deal with the industry. So that's your hint for today. We are definitely up to something, and we are definitely grinding. We actually have a meeting today for some potential stuff coming up right around the corner. Not too sure all the avenues and doors this could open, but I am rather excited to have this meeting. I will tell you that. So hopefully we can have some good announcements coming here in the coming days after we have a nice little executive meeting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So that's your hint for today. We are up to something. Outside of that, I got nothing else I can think of. But, partner, anything burning on the brain, melting on the heart, festering on the soul that you have been dying to get out to the kind folks that stopped by episode number 69 of the TTL Pod on this beautiful June 29th, 2021.
I've got nothing today.
No.
I've got nothing today.
Nothing
Switching
at
it
all?
up, keeping us guessing.
Okay, hey.
Switching up the gears.
You know me. I am a big proponent of keep the body guessing, if you will. So,
nothing.
More power to you, pal.
Nothing.
More power to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up today's Rants and Reactions. Nothing from RMags on the sidebar today. Outside of that, any other quick last parting thoughts? Anything you can... Hell, no, I already asked you. You ain't got shit. Why am I even trying to find anything? Because it ain't there. I don't know why the hell I'm looking for it. I got nothing either. So let's wrap this doggone show up the only way that I know how, with a little bit of motivation minutes. Another short and sweet message for you here today, my friends, but one that is extremely important and one that has paid dividends for me in my life. One that is extremely hard to accomplish. One that takes a lot of work, one that takes a lot of willpower and discipline, but one that will pay dividends in your life. What am I talking about? being still. And I think that definition needs to be explained first. Being still is not throwing your hands up. I ain't doing nothing no more. I'm not putting in any effort. I'm not doing any work. I'm just going to let destiny take over. I'm just going to let life happen. That's not what that is. Being still is stop trying to control everything that is going on. Stop trying to find every single answer to every single question or every single problem when it's not the time to have that answer yet. Stop trying to force things into action when it's not their turn to be in play yet. Being still requires a lot of practice, because when you want to go at 150 miles an hour, accomplishing left, right, and center, life will all of a sudden say, whoa, and pull you back faster and quicker than you could have ever even imagined. And I'm speaking from experience, because I am somebody who does not let the grass grow under my feet. You see this guy shaking his head over here. I have to improve every single day. I have to learn something new. I have to get into something else. I have to stick another iron in the fire somewhere. It's just how I'm wired. I don't need the accolades. I don't need he's such a hard worker, whatever. It's just how I'm wired. I'm addicted to the process. I'm addicted to the grind. So I get it. It was very, very hard for me to be still. And another part of that is patience. Very hard for me to have patience. I want it now. I want it yesterday, for crying out loud. I've been busting my ass for XYZ. Why don't I already have it? It's not the time. It's not supposed to be just yet. But being still also means continuing to have the faith. It all kind of comes down to that balance. Stepping back enough to let the challenges and problems and situations and circumstances handle themselves, but also putting in the work to learn, to grow, to advance, to achieve within those circumstances, but also having the peace to just let it all be, regardless of if you work at it and it doesn't work out, and or an entirely different outcome comes, being okay with that. Being all right with, hey, I put in a boatload of effort and this didn't turn out how I thought it would, but what did you learn? What did you gain from it? What all have you accomplished? There are no failures in this life when it comes down to it. And yeah, I know being still sucks. It's not fun. Waiting for your answers, waiting for things when you are actively putting in work and think that you should have the answers is tough. And I know it. But the final piece is keep having that faith. The best is yet to come. I promise. As long as you stop trying to control everything and get every answer to every problem that you're facing, let them come to you. Just continue to put in the work and do the best of your abilities, and keep the faith that those answers and those overcoming of obstacles are going to come your way. I promise. But right now, you got to be still. I don't know who needs to hear it. I don't know what phase or point in your life you are that you're at this point, but it's your time to be still. Let everything handle itself. Keep putting in your best effort, and I promise you, the best is yet to come. That does it for my motivation minutes for today, my friend.
Good stuff, my man.
Friends.
As always, can't add too much of it. I mean, just gotta be still. If
Absolutely.
you're loading your plate up with too much stuff, or you're trying to answer too many questions, chances are that's just gonna lead to stress and unhappiness, and it's not what we do over here.
Yeah, you can definitely alleviate a lot of that by stepping back. And hey, whether you're religious, whether you're not, whatever the case might be, something I always like to say is let go and let God. I'm sure you've heard that a lot too. I mean, that's a pretty common saying, right? But whatever your concept or your mindset might be, look at it from that mindset. Whatever works in your life to help you achieve and succeed. For me, it's my God, and I'm not ashamed to say that at all. Whatever it is for you, let that take over for you. Be still and watch magic happen. So I hope that gave you a little bit of inspiration, a little extra motivation, get you through this Tuesday. That does it for my motivation minutes today. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for episode number 69 of the Talking the Line podcast. Quick little peruse through here. Everything looks just dandy. Oh, we didn't mention it. Got too much into the sticky stuff. Hey, congrats. Kyle Schwarber ties Barry Bonds for the most homers in a 17-game span with 15. Does he get one on the board tonight? Per Riley Magnuson on episode number 69 of the TTL Pod. Schwarber ain't hitting Rich Hill at all.
Might get to the bullpen. Who knows?
Might get to the bullpen, but it ain't happening on the lefty here today. So congrats to Schwarby, though. Obviously, still one of my favorite players with him being a recent Cub. So
I'm enjoying him this year, not being on the Cubs. I'm enjoying him. I can say that.
It's not enjoyable for me, but I'm still loving watching him play. He's still one of my favorite players in the MLB. He's a walking bomb and a half. With all that being said, all the best bets, all the special plays, the trends, the analysis, the rants, the reactions, the hot takes, the upsets, the ups, the downs, everything in between. That does it for episode number 69 on this beautiful June 29th, 2021. As always, ladies and gentlemen, degenerates, gamblers, far and wide. From myself and Mags, we hope you have a spectacular rest of your Tuesday, unless you have other plans. Let's cash some tickets.